I remember those nights, the ones where the silence in the room felt heavier than any storm. I wasn't just sad, I was broken. And I would pray, I would whisper the words I learned in church, but it felt like I was shouting into a vast, empty canyon. I didn't want a theological answer. I wanted God here, in the room, somewhere I could feel Him, somewhere I could just lean on Him. If you have ever felt that gut-wrenching ache, that feeling that God is a beautiful concept written in a book, but not a present physical reality in your life, then please stay with me. Because I am echo of grace, and I know that pain intimately. But I also know the secret to moving past that emptiness. We are talking about the John 1:14 secret, the moment the Word became flesh, and how to bring that same tangible reality into your daily prayer life, making His presence physically real. This is not just theory. This is the difference between surviving a storm and finding a solid anchor in the chaos. You see, for so long, I treated faith like a ship constantly tossed by high waves. I was always busy trying to bail the water out, always trying to keep the faith boat afloat through sheer effort. But we were never meant to just float aimlessly. We need an anchor, something solid that drops deep below the surface of the turbulence, connecting us to the bedrock. That anchor is the physical reality of Christ's presence, the incarnation. And this brings us to the very first step in the Formula 9+, the one that unlocks everything else. It's the shift from intellectual agreement to physical embodiment. Most of us pray using our minds. We analyze, we request, we rationalize. We treat prayer like a complicated email we send to the universe. But John 1:14 tells us that God didn't just send an email, He sent a body. He made Himself touchable.
The first error we make is forgetting that our bodies are the temple. We often separate our spiritual life from our physical life, as if our spirit is floating somewhere above our shoulders. This is a huge mistake. The secret to making God's presence physically real starts with acknowledging that your body is not just a vessel for your soul. It is the current dwelling place of the divine spark. I know it sounds simple, but think about it. When you pray, are you just thinking the words, or are you involving your whole self? When I was struggling, I realized I was holding tension in my shoulders, my jaw was clenched, and my breath was shallow. How could peace enter a body that was physically preparing for war? Listen closely now, because this is the pattern interrupt. You can't receive the physical presence of peace if your body is actively rejecting it. Are you truly listening with your heart right now, or are you already thinking about the next task on your list? Stop. Breathe deeply. The first key, the foundational block of this formula, is what I call the still point posture. It means intentionally inviting your body into the conversation. Before you speak a single word of prayer, you need to ground your feet. Feel the floor beneath you. If you are sitting, feel the chair supporting your weight. This isn't just about being comfortable. It's about signaling to your nervous system and to your spirit that you are safe enough to receive the anchor. This simple act of physical grounding breaks the pattern of anxious intellectual prayer. It stops the frantic energy that usually dominates our attempts to reach God. Instead of reaching out desperately, you are inviting Him to settle in. It's a profound difference, and it opens the door to the next critical step, which involves mastering the language of the heart, something far deeper than mere words.
Another mistake I see constantly is the belief that volume equals devotion. We think we have to scream our prayers to be heard, but the incarnation was a quiet event, a gentle arrival. When we bring our bodies into the equation through the still point posture, we start to understand the power of internal stillness. This stillness allows us to perceive God's presence, not just intellectually, but through a gentle shift in our own energy, that vital energy, that chi that flows through us. This process of grounding naturally leads us to the second element of the formula, which is the intentional use of breath. Most of us breathe shallowly, living in a constant state of mild panic. But breath is the bridge between the physical and the spiritual, the very thing that sustains the life in our bodies. In many ancient traditions, the word for spirit is the same word for breath. So once you are grounded, the next step is to breathe consciously, not just to survive, but to invite. We are talking about the breath of the Word. This is where the secret of John 1:14 starts to become real in your diaphragm and in your chest. When you inhale slowly, imagine you are drawing in the very peace and calm of Christ. When you exhale, release the fear, the doubt, the tension you've been holding on to. I remember when I first tried this, I was skeptical. I thought, what does breathing have to do with true faith? But I realized that I couldn't feel God's comfort because my body was too busy bracing for impact. The conscious breath is the first physical surrender. It's telling the universe, I am letting go of control and I am making space for the divine. This isn't just a relaxation exercise. It is the physical act of creating a habitable space for the anchor to drop. And trust me, the shift in your emotional state when you practice this faithfully is undeniable. It's the difference between hearing a distant signal and having the signal broadcast directly into your core.
This disciplined breathing leads directly into the third point, which is the most overlooked physical aspect of prayer, the power of the hands. The third step, which follows the gentle surrender of the breath, is engaging the hands. We often just fold them out of habit, maybe because we saw our grandmothers do it, but there is profound physical theology here. Think for a moment about what your hands usually do all day. They grab, they control, they type, they work. They are the instruments of your will and your effort. When we put them together, or turn them palm up, resting gently on our knees, we are physically saying, I am not grasping anymore. I remember a period in my life when I felt so deeply anxious and out of control that I would clench my fists without even realizing it, my knuckles white with tension. How can the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, enter an aggressively closed and defensive space? It simply can't. The simple physical act of opening your palms, even slightly, is an essential invitation. It's the difference between holding a shield against the world and holding a receiving cup, waiting to be filled. This movement of the hands is the physical preparation of the vessel. Now that the hands are open and ready to receive, we need to talk about where our attention shouldn't be, floating aimlessly. This leads us immediately to the fourth physical key, grounding your feet. When I was going through my darkest season, I felt completely unmoored, like a boat cut loose in a storm, tossing violently between the past and the future. My mind was always racing ahead, planning escape routes, or pulling back into regret.
One day, an old friend who saw the exhaustion in my eyes told me something that changed everything. He said, if you want to find God, stop searching only in the high, abstract clouds and start finding Him right where you stand. It sounds almost too simple, but try this right now, wherever you are sitting. Feel the weight of your body pressing down onto the chair, and feel your feet making contact with the floor. Feel the structure holding you. This isn't just gravity, it's stability. It's the physical reminder that you are anchored in the present moment, which is the only moment where God's presence is truly accessible. You are not floating in anxiety, you are physically held by the earth, and ultimately by the divine structure of creation. This grounding is the stability we need to prepare the soil of our soul's garden plot. Are you just reading these words, or are you actually doing the exercises with me? If you're just listening, pause for a second, take one deep conscious breath like we talked about, and feel your feet on the floor. This practice only works if the body is fully engaged. Okay, let's move from the structure to the sound. The fifth key in making the presence real, in embodying the word, is how we use the tongue, the power of the whisper. We often think prayer has to be a loud, dramatic monologue, a public declaration, or a desperate cry demanding answers. And yes, sometimes we need to cry out. But for the practice of feeling the presence, the quiet whisper is infinitely more powerful. I spent years trying to shout my way out of my problems, trying to force God's hand, practically lecturing the heavens on what I needed, and I felt nothing but the echo of my own exhaustion. The profound shift happened when I started whispering my prayers. When you whisper, you physically have to slow down. The words are forced to stay closer to you. They vibrate in your own throat and chest before they even leave your lips. It forces you to internalize the meaning of every single syllable. Try whispering the word peace right now. You physically feel the soft pressure of the P and the sustained sound of the S. It's a physical, undeniable reminder that the word is already intended to be in you, not just shouted out into the void. This whisper connects the breath, the body, and the intention, making the prayer a physical reality within your own flesh. This physical internalization then connects directly to the sixth piece of the puzzle, the focused gaze. Our eyes are the primary gateway to our soul, and in this hyper-connected digital age, they are constantly being assaulted by noise, comparisons, flashing lights, and manufactured urgency. If your eyes are darting around the room, reading notifications, or worrying about the dust on the shelf, your spiritual garden plot is being trampled by distraction. I know how incredibly hard it is to shut off the world. I still fight the urge to check my phone just before I settle down. But the focused gaze is a physical boundary you set for your soul. It doesn't always have to be closed eyes, although that helps immensely. It can be fixing your eyes on a single candle flame, a specific spot on the wall, or simply looking down at your hands. It's the physical act of telling the external world, my attention is finite, and right now every ounce of it belongs here, establishing this space. This focused stillness is what prepares the soil of your mind for the deep, unshakable rooting of the divine presence. And that brings us to the seventh physical secret, one that often separates those who just think about God from those who genuinely feel Him.
The seventh physical secret is the rhythm of the sacred pause, which is simply controlled, intentional breathing. I know how utterly impossible it feels to stop the thousands of thoughts racing through your head. I've sat there, heart pounding, feeling like a complete failure at prayer because I couldn't silence the noise. I understand that pain of feeling scattered. But your breath is the anchor God gave you to slow the ship. It's not about taking massive, deep breaths that make you dizzy. It's about intentional breaths that stabilize your nervous system. Inhale slowly, count to 4. Hold for just a count of 2. That's the physical sacred pause. And exhale completely, letting your shoulders drop. This physical act changes your body's chemistry, moving you out of fight or flight and into rest and receive. It grounds the word, John 1:14, in the physical reality of your lungs and diaphragm, making your body the temple, not just your mind. And if your body is now calm, focused, and breathing with intention, we move to the eighth secret, the language of the hands. Think about this for a moment. How often do we pray with clenched fists, still gripping tight to our worries, still trying to control the outcome? I did that for years, trying to wrestle answers out of God, and I felt nothing but exhaustion and emptiness. The physical shift here is profound and simple. Open palms. Place them face up on your lap or resting gently in front of you. This is the universal, physical posture of receiving. It's a silent, non-verbal prayer saying, I am empty and I am ready to be filled. This gesture is crucial because it physically confirms your surrender, signaling to your entire being that you are not the one in charge anymore. You are physically opening yourself up to receive the reality of His presence, allowing the word to flow into the flesh you have surrendered. Listen very closely now, because this is where most people stop. They do the first 8 steps, feel a little calmer, and then they wait for a lightning bolt. We arrive at the 9th and final secret in this core formula, the sensory integration, or what I call the felt presence. John 1:14 says the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. This is the moment we allow that dwelling to become physically real within us. You have done the work, the location, the posture, the gaze, the breath, the surrender. Now you must actively watch for the physical response. You must invite the Holy Spirit to manifest physically. Do not just wait for a thought, wait for a feeling. It might manifest as a sudden warmth spreading across your chest, a surprising quietness in your ears, a lightness in your shoulders, or even a deep, heavy feeling of peace that anchors you to the floor. Do not dismiss these physical cues as mere coincidence or wishful thinking. These are the confirmation that the Word is indeed becoming physically real to you, right here, right now, fulfilling that ancient promise. These 9 steps are the foundation. They are the scaffolding we use to build the sacred temple within us so that God can dwell there as He promised.
But the formula is 9 plus, and we must talk about that plus sign. The plus sign is consistency and immediate application. I know that sometimes you will try this and you will feel absolutely nothing. I've had seasons of dryness where I cried out to God and felt nothing but the echo of my own voice. If you feel that, I want you to know you are not failing. We are human, and the presence of God is not a vending machine. But the plus sign means that when you finish your time of prayer, you carry the physical posture and the internal quietness with you. You take the peace you felt, or the peace you sought, and you refuse to let the world steal it back immediately.
If you prayed with open hands, walk through your day with an open heart, ready to receive the small blessings and the small answers. The presence of God is not meant to be contained in a single hour. It is meant to inhabit your flesh throughout the day. This is how the Word truly becomes flesh in your life, by carrying the physical memory of that encounter into every moment. The true secret of John 1:14 is recognizing that God respects the physical reality He created. He doesn't just want your mental assent. If you prayed with open hands, walk through your day with an open heart, ready to receive the small blessings and the small answers. The presence of God is not meant to be contained in a single hour. It is meant to inhabit your flesh throughout the day. This is how the Word truly becomes flesh in your life, by carrying the physical memory of that encounter into every moment. The true secret of John 1:14 is recognizing that God respects the physical reality He created. He doesn't just want your mental assent. He wants your physical surrender, your tangible breath, your open hands. When you align your body, your spirit finally has permission to fully receive Him. This journey is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about building a consistent space where you know, deep in your bones, that you are not alone. And if you are still struggling to find that stillness, if you need more practical guidance on how to implement these 9 secrets daily, I have created a detailed resource for you. If this conversation has touched your soul, if you felt a flicker of hope or a confirmation of peace, please let me know in the comments below. Tell me which of these 9 physical secrets you are going to try first. Your story helps me, and it helps everyone else reading. And if you want to continue walking this path of deeper faith and vulnerability with me, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. We are building a community of overcomers here, and I want you to be part of it. May the Word become flesh for you today, making His dwelling physically real in your life. Be blessed, my friend.